to talk about that. So then I'm sure you would agree with me that the standard or traditional NPV has a weakness because it does not consider flexibilities embedded in a project, such as an option to delay. Now, if that one is difficult, let's look at this one, an option to expand. Is when firms invest in projects, allowing further investments later or enter into new markets, possibly making the NPV positive. The initial investment may be seen as a premium to acquire the option to do what? To expand. So you have got a right to expand, but this right is only after the first project. So imagine this is our project number 1. But after this time, in 5 years' time, you have a right to expand your business, to make a second investment. This right to spend in 5 years' time is like a call option. That flexibility, you can't just leave it like that. No, we can evaluate. Another one is an option to abandon. If the firm has the option to seize a project during its life, abandonment is effectively exercising of a put option. So if a project allows you at the end of year 2 to abandon it and save some money, it's like you've got a right to get rid of or to sell. The option to abandon is a special case for an option to redeploy. Option to redeploy is when company can use its productive assets for activities other than the original one. The switch will happen if the PV of cash inflows from the new activity will exceed the cost of switching. These are examples of flexibilities which are not captured. And today we are saying, can we capture these flexibilities? Can we capture these flexibilities? Okay. The Black-Scholes equation is well suited for simple real options, those with a single source of uncertainty and a single decision. To use the model, we need to identify our 5 variables. Do you remember our 5 variables? Do you remember them? In any of these situations, if you have got the equivalent of these 5, then we are saying you can use Black-Scholes to calculate or to estimate the value. Time to expiry. If the project involves a single investment, we will be able to know when is the next event expected. Volatility of the underlying asset. Remember yesterday we talked about the volatility of the share price. And we measured it using what? The standard deviation, this one. The volatility of the underlying asset. Here, the future operating cash flows can be measured using the typical industry sector. What do we mean? That new project, that new activity, what is the volatility? Risk-free, so straightforward. You normally use the government securities. Yeah. What of the exercise price? Most real options, option to expand, option delay, the capital investment required can be substituted for the exercise price. These options are examples of call option. What do you mean? We have a first project here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is our first project. And this is one which gives us a negative. But here you've got a right to spend again another 20 million on the new project. And then you start another project, which will produce results. This amount of money which we spend on the new project is what we call the exercise price. The value of the underlying asset, remember this is our PA. The value of the underlying asset is usually taken to be the present value of the future cash flows from the project. These cash flows that you'll be deriving here. These cash flows, these inflows, these ones, we take them and discount them and add them up. This is what we call your share price. This is the exercise price, that's the share price. The value of the underlying asset is usually taken to be the present value of the future cash flows from the project. This could be the value of the project being undertaken for a call option, or the value of the cash flows being foregone for a put option. Now I'm sure you're saying, no, Mr. P, we need an example. I'm sure a number of you said, no, we need an example to demonstrate that. Here's a good example. A UK retailer is considering opening a new store where in Germany. The estimated cost is 12, and the present value of net receipts is 10. So that gives us an NPV of -2. So according to traditional investment appraisal, what's a decision? These figures would suggest that the investment should be rejected. However, if the first one is opened, then the firm would gain the option to open a second store. This is an option to expand now. Now, this option to expand further is like a what? It's like a call option that we've been dealing with, which is an option to spend in the future, or an option to buy, which you can value using your black scores. You can use a black scores option pricing model to value the second project. Suppose this would have the following. So this project in 5 years' time will spend 20 million as your PE, and the present value of net receipts is 15. The volatility of these cash flows from the second project is 28.3, and the risk-free is 6. So we've got all the variables. You have got the T, you've got that, you've got that, you've got that, you've got that. So any question to do with these options, those come back to you identifying these values. Once you identify them, you go back to your D1, you go back to your D2, you go back to your ND1, you go back to your ND2, then you go to the call option and put them in the formula, and the value of this option is 3.8. You bring together the initial investment, because for you to access this one, you need the initial investment, which gives us a loss. So when you combine the initial investment and the new one, what do you get? What do you get? A positive. Conclusion, the first project, which is negative, should be accepted because there's a flexibility with a value of 3.8. Does the concept make sense to you before we consider the individual figures? So the homework that you have is you can now take a... Come in. You can now take your calculator. You want to prove this. Okay. You want to prove that using your calculator. You want to use your calculator to prove D1 and D1. That's all. So you want to make sure that you are able to get your D1 and D1 and the value of the call option. Evaluate the value of the option to expand. So this is the equation here again. The value to expand on a project. And all the variables are given to us here. Okay. There's another one here. An option to abandon. An option to abandon is a put option. An option to abandon is a put option, meaning that first you find the value of the call option, then you proceed finding the value of the put option. What I've done is I've included solutions in here. The Pandi equation, that one, the solution is here. The other question as well, the solution is here. So I've put in the solutions so that all you do is we can do some practice and get the answers that you're looking for. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do this one together. This is the first exam question. We want to do it together. Okay? So if the notes that I shared with you yesterday, this question is there. And this one, all of you have to get involved. So let us get ready because we need to do this question together so that you can see how we deal with the real options. So let's go. Please, you read through the question, then we do it together, and then you can get an idea now of what is expected from us on application of black scores. Ready? MMC is considering whether to undertake development of the computer game based on a film due to be released in 2 months. Now look at this. This film will be released in 2 months from now. What do we want to do? We are so clever. We want to develop a computer game. It is expected that the game will be available to buy 2 months after the film's release. So, by which time to judge the popularity of the film with a high degree of certainty. End of year cash flows for the 4-year sales period of the game. So it's an investment appraisal. 4 years cash flows are here. MMC will spend 7 million at the start of each of the next 2 years to develop the game. The gaming platform, and to pay for the exclusive rights to develop and sell the game. Following this, the company required 35 million for the production and marketing at the start of the 4 years sales. It can be assumed that all the costs and revenues include inflation. The relative cost of capital for this project is 11%, and the risk-free is 3.5. MMC has estimated that the likely volatility of the cash flows at a standard deviation of 30%. Required. Estimate the financial impact of the director's decision to delay the production and marketing of the game. What's the financial impact of this right to delay? Black-Scholes option pricing model may be used where appropriate. So let us now do our working. Now let's understand the figures. So how the figures look like? The figures will look like this. Year 0, year 1, year 2. Production has not started here, no. But we are told that we are going to pay money at the beginning. Here, you pay a 7. There, you pay a 7. At the start of year 1, here, this is start of year 1. At the start of year 2, which is here, you pay 7. So you're going to pay a 7, another 7 here. Then the game is ready here. This is now the 4 years period. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's go. This is the 4-year period. And before this starts, you're going to spend a 35 million. And then you're going to have these cash flows. This is the difficult part of the question, to see the sense in the timing of the cash flows. The first 2 years, there's nothing happening. You have bought the rights to wait. When the game is confirmed, you can now spend and run your business. So before we bring in the value of the right to delay, what is the outcome of this project? What is the outcome of this project? Let's do the outcome of the project. Let's do the outcome of the project. Let's look at the outcome on our project. So we'll run the project in a traditional way. Okay, let's run the project. So this project is year 0, year 1, year 2. Then the project starts 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess we have understood the cash flows. First of all, -7, -7, and then -35. Then the benefits start. Where are the benefits? 25, 18, 10, and 5. This is -35. So this is our project. What's the discount rate that the company uses? What's the discount rate for this company? The discount rate for the company, the relevant cost of capital is how much?
11%.
Excellent.
11%.
Okay. So let's go. Let's discount the project together here. This contractors at 11%. Let us see the results. Huh? Let us see the results. Before you bring in, the right to delay. Check what has happened here. If you discount these cash flows without the right to delay, you're in a minus. Are we together, my team?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
We have a minus, and this is where that will be a setup of your questions to show that there's a minus here. But this project is not ordinary. You have a right to wait. This right to wait can be valued, provided we know your PA, PE, you got your R, you got your T, you got your S. So let's put in now. Let's put in here. Do we have, are we able to identify the PA, the PE and all that? Let's identify this together. Let's go. Let's start with the easiest. What is the S, or the standard deviation of the cash flows? It's been given to you. It's what?
0.3.
Yes. What of the risk-free? It's been given as what?
0.035.
Okay. What of the T? When do we have the right to spend? From now. Where is the right? Remember? In how many years' time?
2 years.
2 years.
2 years. Okay. What of the PA and the PE? You have a right to spend 35. And on these questions, these will not give you a problem. The problematic one is this one. So this one is the present value of the cash flows. Where are these? Present value of the cash flows. So let's read the cash flows together. Let's read the cash flows together. Now, this time around, those who didn't have an opportunity to participate in calculating D1, want them to participate. So this one is 35. That one is 0.035. This one is 2. This one is 0.3. This one is, let me circle them for you. It's these values here, these. The present value of the benefits of this project, this present value, that is what your PA is. So when you add up these values, what do you get?
38.7.
Is that the one you get there?
Yes.
Now we want people who want participation, especially those that did not participate, to get a D1. Please, can we all work together to get a D1? Let us work together to get the D1. We want everybody to be happy how to get the D1. We want everybody to participate in getting the D1. Let's go. D1. Let's go. That is the 38.74 over 35. Okay. You add brackets. The rate 0.035 plus 0.5 multiplied by 0.3. Then you set to the power 2. Okay. Then you multiply this by the time, which is 2. Then after you have finished doing that, please divide everything by 0.3 times the square root. Time, that's my time there, to the power 0.5. Please, can you help me simplify that? Get your calculators and help me simplify. What goes on top? Those who didn't participate, please, and who had a challenge, can we get you involved?
So I found on top I found 1.35.
Okay, I'll tell you how I want the answers. So I want this one first here. What is this one?
0.1015.
And this one here, what is it?
1.25.
This one here.
So that one is 0.424. 0.424.
424. Like that. Like that. Anyone to second these figures?
I'm getting 0.08 on the second part.
0.08 here.
Yes.
Can we have a confirmation on this one?
0.16.
0.16. 0.16. It looks like we have to revisit that computation.
No, the 0.16 is fine if you multiply with the 2, that's the time.
Okay. So what is the answer here then? What should I put there?
Number
0.19 here. Have you seen a 0.19? It's there. So remember to add the one.
0.5.
Shan. Mlive mweka.
So that's 0.57.
Muka Shan. Shide. Mwete waka kukora bati. Ati?
So it looks like we've got our ND1 and ND2. ND1 and ND2. So if we have our ND1 and ND2, can we now find the value of the option, value of the call option?
Mr. Piri, sorry to take you back. Are you able to explain for me how you got that? I wasn't in the last class, so I'm a bit behind. Just the ND1 and the ND2.
So if you pick the D1, so the D1 is 0.62. So you go, you come here, normal distribution table, you pick the 0.6, and there you pick the 2. So 0.62 is here. Now, because 0.62 is a plus, it's not a negative. With this number you add 0.5. So you say 0.2324. Add 0.5. And then you get your 0.7324. Equally 0.19, you capture it here. 0.1 all the way 0.9. So that's 0.0753. You add a 0.5, you get that. So that is your ND2. So ND2 is 0.5753. So it's this number here because the D2 is above 0, you also add the 0.5. And the ND1 is here. So that's your ND1 and that's your ND2. Once you have ND1 and ND2, so once you find the D1, you come to read the ND1 here. So what's the value of the call option? So you put it here again. So those values, you put them here. Your PA is 38.74. That's what it is. And you multiply by your ND1, which is 0.7324, plus the PE, that's a 35, multiplied by your ND2, which is 0.5753. What of the constant? What's the value of the constant? This one?
No.
The constant? Have you done your E?
0.932.
0.932. So what is the value of the call option then?
Is it 9.59?
9.6.
Excellent. Excellent. I'm finding 9.6
Yes, sir.
or 9.61. So there is a right here. There's an option which is similar to a call option. And this right has got a value of how much? $9.61. So now you're going to add the two values. You're going to add this 9.61, you add it together 2.97. So you take this one now, that's the impact now that we're talking about. That's the impact which the examiner was talking about. So what's the impact of the option to delay? So the impact of the option to delay have you seen the impact now? The impact is that overall, That's the impact overall. That's the impact overall. So this right to delay has got a value of 9.61. So what's the net effect now? Plus 6.64. So we must go ahead with this project. There's flexibility which is embedded here, which has been ignored.
Mr. Piri, I have a question.
Please go ahead.
All in all, this project was to be delayed by 2 years.
It gives you a right to delay.
A right by 2 years.
For 2 years, yeah.
So in other words, the investment appraisal given was for, was it 4 years?
Yes.
So are we saying that we are just adding 2 years to the project period of 4 years, which was already given, first of all?
No, this project is a special one. You don't have to spend now. This project, the arrangement is that the first 2 years are for waiting for you because the film is still developing. You see the other side, there's a film developing. You want to launch a computer game based on the film that will be released. So it's not like you're just choosing, no. The only thing is that it allows you to buy the right that you are the only one who's going to develop this game.
The exclusive right to develop the game and the sale was for 2 years, isn't it?
Yes, the first 2 years.
24 months.
Yes,
24 months.
Plus 2 years. Yeah.
22 years. Then plus the 2 years. Is it the 2 months?
2 months, yes.
That makes it 24 months.
Mm.
Ultimately, that is 2 years.
2 years, exactly.
So in other words, if the period of actual cash flows, which was 4 years, we're adding 2 years to make it 6 years, isn't it?
Exactly. Because this business will only be run starting 2 years from now. And we'll go for
2 years
4 years
from now.
Mm.
So the cash flows given then were to start in year what? In year, is it year 3?
In 2 years' time. In 2 years' time.
2 years' time.
In 2 years' time, you spend now. You actually now do your capital expenditure. Then after that, you now you receive a 25, 18, 10, and 5.
Okay. So the 2 years of the expenditure, 2 years of investing, the scheme does year 1, year 2, or is it year 0, 1, 2?
No, because the expenditure is at the beginning of each of the years. Each of the years. So for the first year, that expenditure is at the beginning of the first year. That is why it's coming year 0.
Okay. The 7 million.
The 7 million.
Year 0, then year 1, 7 million.
Yeah, which is covering now the second year, because you are paying in advance anyway.
This was a tough question. Huh?
Yes.
Mr. Piri, let me see the question again. You can go down up there. I'll just look at the cash flows in the question.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay, I think the issue on the first 2 years, as my colleague has asked, I think that's where the trick part was.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's where there was the trick part was really with this question.
The language
Now,
itself.
in an event, let's just think about this, Mr. Piri. You are in an event one, because the moment you go wrong with the years, the whole question goes, you can't get it correct. That's what I'm seeing. And the likelihood of doing that was very high in this question.
It was, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very, very, very high. If there are students who got the timing correct, there should be very few. Now, in an event, you get the timing right, but you do the principles behind it, you do them correctly. Can you be awarded some marks?
The marks
I know on the
awarded.
timing, even me, I would have gotten.
The timing,
Yeah.
the marks will be awarded. For instance, your PA, did you identify the PA, the PE, the R, the T, the S, all that? And also, at the end of the day, demonstrating that you understood the concept of a real option, where we are saying what you're looking at here is that if you do a traditional approach, the project may not have been as attractive. But if you bring in this and you add them up together, this project is likely to be attractive. For demonstrating that too, especially now as you explain, that will also give you some marks.
Yeah. I think where the wrong will come in is on the PA. PA definitely will get it wrong.
The PA is,
but the rest, I think,
yeah.
I think
PA will get it wrong.
I think, in my opinion, is I think the options to derail really. The catch, the trick part lies in the timing aspect compared to the option to expand, because the option to expand, really you have to do the first project.
Yes, you are right.
Then thereafter,
that's when the second one comes in.
To invest, yes, and the other cash flows arise. Though that one looks like very easy to understand in terms of timing. But then the option to delay, I think the timing factor, I don't know whether you just literally add the years that you are going to delay to the cash flows given. I don't want to learn it mechanically per se.
But you know what you do, Gilbert? You go back to the basics. A call option itself, how does it work? If your boss, you're an executive, and they offer you a call option to buy, that is right, buy shares in the company, how would it work normally? So what they say, Gilbert, you can buy shares in this company 2 years from now. Okay. Then Mr. P is invited. Mr. P buy the shares today. So you see, me, I invest, and that's it. Maybe I've lost already my money in your company. But you, that right that you have has got some value, because in between now, the next 2 years, you'll be waiting. So the point is, when you compare to the call option on shares, that waiting will come on its own to stand out. Now we're just applying that to any other investment that you can come across in your life. That if there's any investment which actually I don't have to spend now, I'm given the right to wait, then we are saying, what I do in shares, I can also apply it on that investment. Hello?
Yes,
okay, you are there.
So, boss, if you are given a mining right, for example, maybe we bring in the mining rights. Can such mine is given a mining right?
Yes.
To develop the mine, for example, in a mining. So they have got they buy the mining rights to develop a brand new mine.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
So then they delay to develop.
Because you have got the right. You're waiting for copper
Yeah.
prices to improve. Yeah.
Yeah, normally that is why they would delay to develop
Mm.
for 2 years, for example. Okay. So then thereafter they project that if you are to, after the 2 years, they do a cash flow projection.
Yeah.
Maybe that mine should last for 25 years.
Mm.
My interest is the first 2 years of not developing. The first 2 years of not developing the mine.
Mhm.
Is that what you are calling a co-option?
So now you are not very sure of this project. Then you say, anyway, I'm going to buy a right so that I'm the only one who can come and mine here. And I want to wait for 2 years. Okay. So then, in the first 2 years, you have got yourself a right. So that after 2 years now, you can actually go ahead and spend or invest and generate your revenues. Another person hasn't got that right. You certainly, there's a value in this arrangement because you can delay for 2 years. Now, what is this value here? The value of waiting for 2 years. So this value must be considered. So ourselves, okay, fine, that's okay. That's okay. We can go back to shares. We can use an example of a call option on shares. That one can be valued, and to value it, use this model here. So if what is in here is also there, then we can use the same thinking here and value the right which is here. So it's like you have a right to spend 35 million in 2 years' time and generate these cash flows for 4 years. What is the value of that right? You have a right to pay 35 million or to invest 35 million in 2 years' time and generate cash flows for 4 years, 25, 18, 10, and 5. What is the value of that right? I said, oh, okay. I can see a number of things here. I can see my PA, my PE, my R, and my T. So there is a value here, which is I must also calculate. And once I calculate it, it comes to the issue of 9.61. Now your question, Gilbert, should be, what does this really mean, 9.61? How does it become a value? Maybe that's what your question should be. How does this become a value?
Hypothetical, isn't it?
Flexibility. Flexibility. You are allowed to wait. So, because in between, if you don't like it, you may not spend, you walk away. So there's a flexibility here, which you are saying, can you find what a value is? And we have borrowed this concept and put a value on it. So basically, it's a flexibility that we're talking about here.
So is it because that right you can sell it to another mining
In fact,
firm interested?
you can sell it straight. You
Or
can
maybe
sell
that's
that
why
right.
we have. Oh, okay.
You can sell it.
That's why we are bringing it to value. That's why we are valuing it. Okay.
You're the ones who'll be negotiating for us shortly for this country. So you need to bring these items in. You know, there was one time when I was working in the practice and we were making a presentation, and there was somebody who had remembered, but he was a technical person. He had remembered somewhere that when you are buying a company, there's a premium that you put on top. So that person after made the presentation, no, I read somewhere. What I read was that when you're buying a company, There's normally an issue of a premium. You people have not talked about the premium. You know? So yeah, then we yes, it's only issue. So where is the premium there? Eh? So tomorrow you're going to present an investment. You say this investment is negative. Then somebody says, no, wait, sir. Me, I read about real options that there's some flexibilities you can value. Did you consider those?
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting, eh? Okay. If that is okay, let us discuss the Greeks. Let's discuss the Greeks, eh? Let us discuss the Greeks.